ഓറഞ്ച് നീങ്ങി ഒരു ചുവന്ന സ്വിച്ച് കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ?
കാണുന്നുണ്ട് കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ സ്വിച്ചിന്റെ കാര്യമാണ്. ചുവന്ന സ്വിച്ച് അമർത്തി. അമർത്തി.
Ignoring fast charge. There's a rumor going that fast charge can reduce your battery life. Moreover, it generates more heat than normal charge, which is bad for the battery. Well, it may be partly true, but the most important thing about fast charge is that it doesn't give your phone more energy than it can consume. As for heat, it can be hardly avoided even if you charge your device the regular way. But it's still not recommended to use fast charge all the time. High voltage and constant overheating may harm your gadget. Letting your phone go to 0% charge. Draining the phone completely and then recharging it back to 100% is definitely not an option. Specialists say that your best range is 20% to 90% if you want your battery to last longer. If you let the battery go to 0 all the time and then juice it up, you can damage the inside materials, and it can even cause battery corrosion. Using random chargers. It's not true that all the chargers are the same. The best thing you can do to your phone is to provide it with the original charger. True, some generic Apple cable or adapter may seem as good as the original one, and even the charging time might be almost similar, but it may have different voltage. This can potentially damage your gadget. Plus, generic chargers usually don't include any protection from power surges. Charging your phones in cafes or other public places. First, you never know whether the plug is faulty or if the voltage is right. Second, juice jacking is a huge issue in public places. If you do need to charge a phone in a public place, the last thing you want to do is use a USB port. Someone can steal your personal data through it. Plus, sometimes the port capabilities are not powerful enough anyways. Going out without a power bank. That's one thing you don't want to leave at home. Power banks are much safer than any public hub. Just make sure the amperage is right. Most modern smartphones charge at 2.1 amps, and most power banks have a range of 2.1 to 2.4 amps, which is totally okay. Check if the phone's not too hot while charging. The hotter the battery, the less effective the charging is. Use charge-saving apps. Some of us do that to stay away from the plug as long as possible. Unfortunately, these apps do nothing but consume even more energy and aggressively shut down other apps. Most apps don't eat up battery when in the background, while battery-saving ones actually do. Only active processes, such as GPS or background music, really drain the battery whether you use them or not. You can restrict background apps yourself in the settings. Charging the phone in the car. Cars usually have less electricity than any phone actually needs to charge. The USB ports are low power there, so your gadget might swallow up the power much faster than the port can handle. You end up ruining your cable and battery like this, and the phone will barely get any charge. A rental car is even worse in this regard, since you never know who used that port before you jumped in. Same goes for train stations and even trains themselves. Here, the issue of data stealing I talked about earlier also applies. This stops charging as soon as the phone reaches 100%. But as soon as your device loses a few percent, the charger will automatically top it off. And this vicious circle won't be broken until you wake up and unplug it. Just like lead-acid batteries, lithium-ion ones don't like being either fully charged or hitting 0%. Plus, it's pretty dangerous. Most fires take place at night, and a faulty charger can actually be the reason for that. Using your phone while it's charging. This way, you can confuse the battery a bit. The thing is that the phone's going to get a bit of charge, then the app you're using will grab that energy, and the charger will top off the battery again. These small cycles tire the battery out and shorten its lifespan. Ideally, you should just turn the gadget off while charging. But if that's impossible, at least leave it alone for the time being. Leaving the phone cover on while charging. Now, it's not critical, but it's not recommended either. The cover traps in the heat, making the whole charging process way less effective. You shouldn't leave your phone under the pillow for the same reason. If you get super unlucky, it can also catch fire. and now you're having a hot dream. If you just can't fall asleep without your phone, set a timer for the media and preferably put it on the bedside table. If you want to reduce heating, turn on the airplane mode and bring your screen brightness to a minimum while charging. Stopping using your gadget with too little or too much juice. Now, if for some reason you want to discontinue your phone use for some time, charge it to 50% and turn it off. This percentage is said to be the healthiest for a lithium-ion battery. With this level of charge, you can store it for months with the least possible damage to your gadget. Don't forget to turn it on every once in a while and top off the battery. Not saving the charge correctly. If you don't lock your phone when it's not in use, it may eat up too much of your battery. Phones usually have default screen lock time set to about 2 minutes, and sometimes it's a bit too much. Setting it to 1 minute or even 30 seconds could make your battery last longer. Setting a dark theme also helps save the charge too. Another tip is to avoid using mobile data, especially if the connection is poor. The gadget's going to waste its charge on trying to find a network. Temperatures are important too. Don't expose the phone to direct sun rays because overheating eats up the charge. If there's no obvious reason why it's be poor, the most common problem is a damaged cable. They have to endure a lot since we constantly wrap, fold, and drag them. Try different cables to see if the problem was about that. If the cable just won't work, try cleaning the cable jack. Sometimes some random lint just won't let you charge the phone. But anyway, if it's corrosion, this trick is useless.